Hi there, Moriah Minor. I hope you're doing okay wherever you are. I am okay. I'm doing good. 2026 is here with us. I'm grateful for the source of life. I'm grateful to God. I'm grateful for my friends. I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful for you that we get to experience life in 2026. Life is for the living, right? So let's live life. Hey, I'm going to talk about prayer. I had promised a while ago. PLO Lumumba had spoken about Christians or Africans praying a lot.
I dare say that one of the greatest problems that bedevils Africa is religion. It is one of the things that debilitates Africa. Africa now finds herself in a space where many believe, wrongly in my view, that all our problems will be solved through prayer and fasting. Wrong.
People in the global south pray a lot, and there's nothing wrong with that. Yet, the system seems to be broken. Something is amiss. And this is obviously something I always thought about. I've lived in Africa, I've lived in Kenya where I grew up, I've also lived in the West. And when you live in both sides and different cultures, different nations, different communities, you get to experience different dimensions and aspects of life. Sometimes you're confronted to think differently or ask questions about one issue or against another. And I think for myself, I think it's made me more holistic and able to analyze things and think more, be creative, ask questions. And I believe I'm a better person to an extent. I leave that to others to judge. That's myself. That's my own opinion. And I want to share with you some things that I've actually come up with when it comes to the issue of prayer. Prayer is universal. No one particular community, no one particular culture, religion, faith owns it. Human beings have been praying as long as possible. My people, where I'm from near the Mount Kenya region. The Agikuyu have always prayed to Mwenenyaga, who they say is God, the God who created Mount Kenya, which is the highest peak in Kenya, the second highest mountain in the world. I believe it's over 17,000 feet. They took those elements that gave them awe to see how big this God is, or this creator of the universe was or is. And so prayer is a conversation, it's a dialogue with the source of life. It is also a dialogue with oneself. I'm gonna make that clear shortly. It's a dialogue of people come together and decide, let's commune, let's exchange ideas, let's exchange words as we believe, as we pray, as we direct our desires to the source of life. These words, these ideas, feelings, thoughts are verbal. They are also mental. In a spiritual exercise, people pray for adoration purposes, confession purposes, guidance, seeking inspiration, being thankful, supplications, making someone's needs known to the source of life, and all that good stuff. So I will make my case using the scriptures, the Bible. I know not everybody reads the Bible, and here I'm trying to cast a wide net I am trying to reach everybody, whether you're Christian or not. The words I'm about to read you are fundamental truths. It just because they're in a Bible or they're in a particular Quran or whatever makes no difference. A principle is a fundamental truth. An example of a principle I would give you is you cannot plant corn and expect to harvest rice. It's not gonna happen. If you don't plant anything, you can't expect to harvest anything. Maybe weeds that grow wildly, yes. So those are fundamental truths. Those are what I call principles. So I'm going to read Genesis chapter 1 from, I'm going to start from verse 24 to 30. Then God said, "Let earth bring forth the living creature according to its kind, cattle and creeping thing, and the beasts of the earth, each according to its kind." And it was so. And God made the beast of the earth according to its kind, cattle according to its kind, and everything that creeps on the earth according to its kind. And God saw it was good. Then God said, "Let us make man in our own image according to our likeness." Mark those words. I'm going to repeat that again. God said, "Let us make man in our own image according to our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, over the cattle, over all the earth, over every creeping thing that creeps on the earth." So God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him. Male and female, he created them. Then God blessed them and said to them, "Be fruitful and multiply, fill the earth and subdue it. Have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, and over everything that moves on the earth." And God said, "See, I have given you every herb that yields seed, which is on the face of all the earth, and every tree whose fruit yields seed. To you it shall be food, also to every beast of the earth, to every bird of the air, and everything that creeps on the earth, in which there is life. I have given every green herb for food." And it was so. Then God saw everything that he had made, and indeed it was very good. So the evening and the morning were the sixth day. Okay? So let me just go again and say, "Let's make man in our own image according to our likeness, and let them have dominion over this fish and the sea, over the birds of the air, and over the cattle, over everything on earth." Okay? In his own image he created him, he male and female, he created them and blessed them and told them, "Be fruitful, multiply, fill the earth, subdue it, and have dominion over all the fish, everything that creeps on the land, everything in the sea, and everything in the air. You have dominion over it." And so he saw that and he said it was good. So, as I talk about prayer, I want you to think about the image and likeness of God. So, in you, in me, is the power to create. We have that an innate thing within us to be, to build, to make, to create. We have been given the creative power to build, to invent, to innovate, to manufacture, original, to bring to fruition, to from a thought process, bring together elements using whatever is available on earth, and bind and put these things together, build and add these things so that they can come to a product that we can make use of, that can give us a certain expectation, a certain desired end, a benefit for our sustenance, a benefit to our wellness and growth. That creative power is inside you. It is inside me. You know, when one thing about children, when they get gifts, they take ownership. So if a child is given a particular gift, he's not going to be asking, or she's not going to be asking for permission to use or play with the toy. Normally they don't. They take possession, they take ownership, and they utilize that gift, play with it, to give them that excitement, that happiness, that moment of fulfillment, whatever they derive from that toy. So ownership, possession, freedom to utilize an asset, the legal authority to use, control, or transfer, power to exercise as willed. Yep. So that's what you have, that's what I have. So as we're having this conversation, as I'm talking about prayer, you are talking to God, or the source of life, but also you're talking at times to yourself. You're having that energy, that conversation within you. There are certain desires, there are certain things that you have that are unique to you, that make you who you are, that make you not like another person. So my prayers will not always be the same as another person. They may have aspects of them that are the same. But if my interest is in media, I'm going to be thinking creatively, and I'm going to be praying about aspects that I'm passionate about. Somebody else is passionate about art. Someone else is passionate about inventing, engineering, and they're thinking about how to put together formulas to make a certain joint be able to withstand so much force, like when you're building a bridge. So those are unique to all of us, and even as you come and even as you pray, that dialogue is unique, and it's happening within you and God, or within yourself. I want you to know and to make sure that you realize that you have that creative power, that you have the power to make things happen. So as a child who takes possession about what they have, you and me ought to take possession of that creative power, not just by talking about it, but utilizing it. I don't think you'll be finding many places where a child comes to you and they own a certain gift and keep asking you for permission to use it. In fact, if you touch that gift or that present, whatever you want to call it, they might come at you and tell you, "This is mine, leave it alone." So kids are very good when it comes to exercising their ownership. I want us to be better at exercising ownership. I want to be better at exercising my creative juices, my creative power, my creative ability to will and to bring the conditions that I want in my life, within my spheres of influence, that are meant for good, that are meant to bring a certain end to come to pass. So therefore, I'm not just going to be praying every day that God gives me. I'm going to exercise that creative power that I have as a result of being a creature that was made or created in the image and likeness of God, the source of life. So if you want a particular country to function as it should, I don't just go pray overnight prayer meetings, crying to God, oh, please give us a certain president or give us a certain leader. No. Exercise the power that is within you to make that happen. How is that possible? First and foremost, be informed about the candidates. Candidate A has AYZ. Candidate B has ABC. And analyze. For me, I would be looking at two candidates and saying, this one is telling me, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do the other. In my mind, as a person who actually has a company, I'm going to be thinking, what have you done? Can you show me something in your past that can make the claim of what you want to do, that you can do it? I'm going to be looking for experience. Every employer out there is going to, when you fill out an application, one of the most important things, I think, even beyond credentials, is experience. They're going to be asking, what experience do you have in a particular field? Can you tell me what you've done in A, B, C, D? How much more should you be critical when it comes to the leadership of a country, a leadership of a county, a leadership of a state? You cannot entrust leadership to people that have not produced, because what happens, you get the opposite. Stagnation, moving backwards. You line up experience and reward. Therefore, it's not so much about praying that we get good leaders, is exercising your mind, your experience, your brains to use. You can pray all night that you get a good leader, but if you don't exercise that, it's not going to happen. That entails going to rallies and asking questions to these leaders. What have you done? What do you promise to do? Where did you come from? What have you done? A, B, C, D, and all this other stuff. So as you guys, if you want to see a country that is doing well, you have to exercise your creative power. It is within you to do so. I'm looking for a job and I've been praying and praying and praying and nothing is happening. Guys, I don't think God, or the source of life, wants you to live a life of lack, poverty. I don't think so. I think part of this is how we understand the world and how we understand how things function or not. Let's take the example of there's one time when Jesus asked, what are we going to give all these people to eat? And people were hungry. And someone said that there's one kid that has 2 fishes and 5 breads. Well, the master said, bring them. And they were able to break them and feed many people. So what is the lesson there? What is the lesson? And I'm not arguing about how that's possible or not. What do you have in your hand? If you've gone to school, you've studied, and you've been trusting God, or you've been trusting the source of life for an opportunity, my question is, what do you have in your hand right now? Are you able to get a small loan from the family members and go open up something, or maybe go buy some produce in the countryside and then take them where you can sell them for a higher price? Are you able to come together as a group of people, put your money together, have some bylaws of how you're going to use that money to be able to open a small business? These are the things that you've got to think about. You can't just wait to get that job. We know that some of these countries are not creating jobs. The corruption and the economic growth is stagnant. So you've got to think outside the box. What can I do with what I have? You have your phone. What can I do with this phone that lines with my passion and my abilities to do something or create something? So prayer is a lot about a conversation with yourself about the creative power and the creative Jesus within you, as much as it is also talking and exchanging ideas with the Creator. As I said, you have the creative power, the creative energy within you, since you've been created in the image of God. You've been created in the image of the Creator. Believe and exercise your giftings. They are there for you to utilize. If you don't, you're going to suffer. Let's take another example. The scriptures also talk about a parable. There's this story about the talents. This rich man had several talents. He came to one that had 5 and gave him 5. He came to one and gave 5. Then he or she gave another one 2 and another one 1. The one with the 5 talents, what did they do? They didn't sit down and pray and hope. They started thinking about, what can I do with these 5 talents to produce more talents? Maybe thought about investing, or probably thought, you know what, I can go trade, buy something and sell for a higher price. And at the end of the time, when before the master came, he had already doubled the 5 talents to 10 talents. The same likewise happened to the guy with the 2 talents. Took out the 2 talents and said, I gotta make more with this. And went, traded, bought some things, sold some things, and was able to double the 2 talents to 4 talents. And what happened to the one with the 1 talent? He went and buried it. And then when the master came back and asked, what have you guys done with my talents? The one with the 5 said, I got 5 more, I got 10. And he was told, good and faithful servant. The one with the 2 talents said, I got 2 talents more. So he got 4. Oh yeah, good and faithful servant. And he was blessed with, go, you've done well. And the one with the 1 talent, well, I buried it because I know you're a harsh man. And I didn't want you to reap where you did not sow. So this is a 1 talent. So guess what? The 1 talent was taken and given to the one even with 10. And so the guy with the 1 talent ended up with 0 talents. What's the moral of the story? The moral of the story is it's really upon us to have the kind of life we want to live. Individually, in a family setting, in a community setting, and as a country, and much more so as a continent. You have so much wealth in Africa. You have all resources. And you're going to let other people from outside come, take resources and get out? And you keep crying? Exercise your creative ability. Come together and do something about it. People will not just talk for goodness sake. We live in the world. It's called a man-eat-man world. Things are rough out here. Things are dangerous. If you don't fight, if you don't work hard to protect your interests, other people will come and take those interests at your expense. I'm sorry to say, Africa is subsidizing for other people's lives outside the continent. When raw materials are taken out of the continent to be to be processed outside the country, outside the continent, It's serious. It's like being given 5 talents and saying, take the 5 talents, go do what you want to do with that. No African country today in the 21st century should be having raw materials being taken out of the continent. Everything has to be produced in Africa. Needs to build factories and the infrastructure necessary so that jobs are created on the continent, so that you can sell higher quality goods that earn you more money. Guys, the time for crying is over. If you don't do what you have to do or need to do, you are going to continue paying the price. Your divisions are a problem. So you need to be having prayer within you and among yourselves with God, that I have the power to produce a certain expected end for me, myself, and my family, and my community, my country, my continent. So, because I have that creative power, what do I need to do? We need to elect leaders that love our countries. People that are going to stop at nothing but come together to form laws that ban the export of raw materials from the continent. No way should Kenya be sending tea to London to be processed to become English tea. It needs to be processed in Kenya and employ Kenyans. No cocoa should be leaving Cameroon or Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, or Nigeria, parts of Nigeria. Those are the 4 countries that produce cocoa. You guys, why can't you come together, 4 of you, and come up with factories to build, to construct, and produce cocoa to finished products, chocolate, milk, chocolate cake, butter, and all this good stuff, and sell them overseas. Your children should not be trying to cross the Mediterranean, trying to drown to go seeking jobs overseas, jobs that can be created right here in Africa. There's no crying and praying that is going to solve that. It is you realizing that you have that God creative power, energy in you, and exercising it to produce the expected end that you so desire. I read earlier that God gave us the dominion over the land, over everything within our spheres of influence. So the fact that you're not having dominion over your minerals and resources around your spheres of influence where you live means that you've abdicated your responsibility. Guys from outside are not going to come and cry and trying to help you out. You're going to have to find a way to fix that for yourself and for your children and for your children's children. Otherwise, it's going to continue. It was happened in 1800s, continued happening in 1900s, continued happening in the 21st century. It has to come to a stop. You have to exercise your powers. Believe in yourself, because you've been created in the image of God to produce, to make what you so much desire. You know, there's a scripture that says that He has, as His divine power has given us all things that pertain to life and godliness, through the knowledge of Him who called us by glory and virtue. You have been given, according to the divine power of the Creator, all things. Not some things. All things. All things means everything that pertains to life. What pertains to life? Food, shelter, clothes, and more. So if you're dying of hunger, then something is amiss, because that's not God's will. God is not coming from somewhere to come and do what He's already enabled you to do. It is your duty. It is my duty to create that, because we have everything that we need to life and godliness. The godliness, the virtue of being good, the virtue of life, that we are able to touch others and bless others with materials that bring them joy, peace, happiness, goodness, mercy. All these things are within your power, because you've been created in the image and likeness of God. So let's pray with understanding. For when you pray with understanding, you get a lot of results. When you pray without understanding, you get less results. Let's not be lazy all the time on our knees. Let's get up and go to work. Let's make it happen, because we have the power to do so. So, God is not somewhere just waiting to see people die and feeling bad that they're dying of diseases, they're dying of hunger. It is you who is not exercising your power to do what you need to do. He said, dominion over the earth, dominion over everything, so that you can be fruitful and multiply. And being fruitful and multiply doesn't just mean children. It means being productive, being expanding your territories in terms of the economy, so that there are more jobs, that there are people being able to eat and fill themselves and export and bless others that have less. Be fruitful and multiply. It means all dimensions of life. Materials, life in itself, being fruitful and multiply. I'm going to conclude by saying in 1984, Ethiopia has gone through some major famine. I remember when the stars of the time came together. We are the world. We are the children. We are the world to make a brighter day. So let's start giving. I got some skills. Well, that was a great exercise. But famine, they gave money, and famine still came years later. And the Horn of Africa has experienced famine several times since that was done in 1984. When you don't even exercise your creative power, even animals that you've been given dominion over suffer. When you look at a place with famine, you see cattle dead, you see camels dead, you see nothing but desolate place. Animals suffer because you don't have you're not spending time with your creative juices to produce an end that you want, an end that you're supposed to have. Let's take an example of Joseph. Joseph in the Old Testament was a dreamer, right? He was sold in Egypt, and the king had a weird dream where he had 17 cows eat 7 fat cows, and he was very troubled by that. And then one of his guys told, there's a guy who interprets dream. He's locked down there. And then Joseph went to the king and told the king what the dream was about, that it's going to be 7 years of plenty, and then there's going to be 7 years of lack. It's going to be famine. So what did they do? He was told, take charge. He was told, take charge and do something about it. He didn't go just pray and sleep and hope. He went to work. They planted, they worked hard, they tilled the land, they produced and overproduced. And then they were able to even keep the surplus, store the surplus, because 7 years of hunger were coming. So for 7 years, all they did was just be commercial out there, produce, plant, make, be fruitful, produce, multiply, so that when the 7 years of famine came, they had plenty to eat and have life sustenance for. So, if we know there's going to be famine in the Horn of Africa every so often, what should we be doing? Should we just be enjoying and eating food and then start crying when famine comes that God may cause there to be rain? No. We're supposed to be taking advantage of the time when we have rains and we have plenty to plant a lot, to grow a lot, to produce a lot, to trade more, to store, so that when the famine comes, it doesn't hit us hard, that we're able to sustain ourselves and get through that period. But this comes from leadership, good leadership. This also comes from people knowing the type of leaders they want. It is an exercise of everybody. Why don't we have famine in the Middle East and there's no rain? Because they know there's not going to be food. So they are busy producing by leasing lands where in Africa, where they can grow plants, where they can grow crops, where they can grow food and store in their countries. Nobody in Africa should be dying of hunger. If you're dying of hunger, you've not exercised your creative power to produce the end that you expect. And you cannot blame God for that. That's just being an example of the guy who had one talent, knew what to do with the talent, but decided, let me not do anything about it. Let me just go bury it and hope that when the master comes, I'll just give it back to him. Don't blame God. You are responsible for your conditions. We are responsible for the conditions in our countries, in our families, in our lives. I have screwed up many times in my life. And I'm responsible for that. If I don't take responsibility for that, when will I ever learn from my mistakes? If we don't recognize as a community that we've screwed up and take responsibility for that, where are we? When are we going to learn? If we don't take responsibility as a country, as a continent where we have screwed up, we can't keep crying and blaming others. This world is rough, guys. It's rough. Nobody's coming to save you. You have to save yourselves. You have the creative energy. Make use of it. Make use of it. I have given them the power to multiply. I've given them the power to prosper. I've given them the power to produce. I've given them the power to yield, to have yields. So use that. So when you go back and to pray, meditatively think about this, that you're not begging God to give you something you already have. Start exercising. You can have that dialogue within yourself and with God, but start pumping yourself. I'm going to do this, and start thinking about how you're going to do it. A, B, C, D. How am I going to accomplish A, B, C, D? How are we going to accomplish as individuals, as a family, as a community, as a country, as a continent? You have the power to produce. He has given us divine power for all things that pertain to life and godliness through the knowledge of Him who has called us by glory and virtue.